It's been years since Meteor Garden first brought Dylan Wang and Shen Yue into the same frame, yet every festive season, their names somehow find their way back into the same conversation. Not because they force it, not because they announce anything, but because there's something about the way their connection lingers that feels timeless, especially during the holidays, when memories seem closer and emotions sit nearer to the surface. When Meteor Garden ended, most people expected the usual story. Two co-stars move on. Separate paths, new projects, new headlines, and on the surface, that's exactly what happened. Dylan Wang grew into his own spotlight, carrying confidence, charisma, and an edge that made him one of the most recognizable faces of his generation. Shen Yue continued to build her career with warmth and sincerity, choosing roles that reflected her quiet strength and emotional depth. Yet even as their careers evolved separately, the memory of them together never faded. Every festive period, Christmas lights, year-end reflections, moments of nostalgia, fans found themselves revisiting old clips, interviews, and behind-the-scenes footage. Not because they were clinging to the past, but because what Dylan and Shen Yue shared felt genuine enough to withstand time. There was something about the way they looked at each other back then that didn't feel rehearsed. Dylan's playful teasing balanced by Shen Yue's soft laughter. Shen Yue's calm presence grounding Dylan's restless energy. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't polished. And that's exactly why people believed it. As the years passed, their interactions became fewer but more meaningful. When they crossed paths at events, fans noticed how natural their greetings were. No awkwardness, no forced distance, just familiarity. A smile that said, "We've been through something together," without needing to explain it. During one holiday season, a short clip resurfaced online, an old behind-the-scenes moment from Meteor Garden. Dylan adjusting Shen Yue's costume, laughing at something she whispered, both of them momentarily forgetting the cameras. The clip went viral again, not because it was new, but because it felt warm, comforting, like something you revisit when you need to believe in simple connections again. That's what makes festive seasons amplify their story. The holidays are about remembering who mattered, who shaped us, who made moments feel lighter. For many fans, Dylan Wang and Shen Yue represent a time when things felt simpler, when a drama could bring people together, when chemistry didn't need explanation, when emotions felt honest. Even now, fans notice how Dylan speaks about the past with respect, never dismissing it. How Shen Yue acknowledges Meteor Garden as a meaningful chapter, not just a stepping stone. Neither of them rewrites history. Neither of them exploits it. And that mutual respect keeps their bond intact in the public eye. There was a recent festive interview where Dylan was asked about memories that still make him smile. He didn't name names, but he talked about working with people who made long days feel short. Around the same time, Shen Yue mentioned cherishing connections that don't fade even when paths change. Fans didn't need confirmation. They felt the alignment. What makes their festive bond unforgettable isn't romance or rumors. It's shared growth. It's knowing that two people can move forward without erasing what came before. It's the understanding that some connections don't need constant proximity to remain meaningful. During the holidays, when Dylan posts casual photos, warm lighting, relaxed smiles, fans read comfort into them. When Shen Yue shares soft, reflective messages during the same season, fans feel the same calm energy. And somewhere between those moments, people are reminded why their pairing still matters. They symbolize a kind of connection that doesn't demand answers, a bond that exists quietly, respectfully, and without pressure. The kind that feels especially powerful during festive times, when people slow down enough to feel instead of speculate. From Meteor Garden to the holidays, Dylan Wang and Shen Yue remain connected not by headlines, but by memory, by shared history, by the way fans still smile when their names appear together. And maybe that's why their bond can't be forgotten. Because it isn't trying to be anything more than what it already is, a reminder that some moments, once felt deeply, never really leave us. As the festive season deepens, something else becomes clear about Dylan Wang and Shen Yue. Their story doesn't live in one moment or one era. It stretches quietly across time, resurfacing whenever people pause long enough to remember why it mattered in the first place. Holidays have a way of doing that. They slow the noise. They invite reflection. And in that space, familiar names return with new meaning. Fans often talk about how Dylan and Shen Yue represent more than just a successful on-screen pairing. They represent a shared beginning. Meteor Garden wasn't just another drama. It was the project that changed everything for both of them. They grew up in front of the public together, learning how to handle fame, criticism, and expectation at the same time. That kind of shared pressure creates a bond few people truly understand. During festive interviews over the years, both have shown the same pattern. When asked about growth, they speak with humility. When asked about the past, they speak with gratitude. There's no attempt to distance themselves from that chapter, and no need to cling to it either. It exists exactly where it should, in their history, respected and intact. Fans notice how Dylan's confidence has matured. He's still playful, still bold, but more grounded now. Shen Yue has become more self-assured too, choosing calm over chaos, depth over noise. When people imagine them together now, it's not as the same young characters they once played, but as two people who have grown in parallel, shaped by similar beginnings. One reason their bond feels especially warm during the holidays is that it mirrors what people seek during that time: familiarity, comfort, and sincerity. When fans rewatch Meteor Garden during Christmas or New Year's, it's less about the plot and more about the feeling. The laughter, the innocence, the sense of possibility. Dylan and Shen Yue carry that feeling with them, even years later. There's also something unspoken in how they never contradict the affection fans still have for them. They don't fuel rumors, but they don't dismiss emotions either. That balance is rare. It shows respect not only for each other, but for the audience that supported them from the beginning. Behind the scenes, people who worked on Meteor Garden have occasionally mentioned how natural their teamwork was. Not dramatic, not intense, just easy. The kind of ease that makes long days lighter and success more meaningful. That kind of memory doesn't fade, no matter how far apart careers travel. As the festive lights go up and year-end lists begin circulating, Dylan Wang and Shen Yue inevitably appear together again, in compilations, in fan edits, in conversations that begin with "Do you remember when?" And every time, the response is the same. A smile, a sense of warmth, a quiet appreciation. Their story reminds fans that not all meaningful bonds need to turn into something else to stay important. Some connections simply exist, unchanged by time, strengthened by distance rather than weakened by it. So during this festive period, when nostalgia feels closer and memories feel softer, Dylan Wang and Shen Yue stand as a reminder of beginnings worth remembering, of bonds formed in sincerity, of moments that still feel real long after the cameras stop rolling. And as another year closes, their shared chapter remains exactly where it belongs, not in speculation, not in denial, but in the hearts of fans who still feel something when they see those two names together. That's why, from Meteor Garden to the holidays, their festive bond is one fans truly can't forget. As the year edges closer to its end, fans often find themselves looking back, not just at what happened, but at what stayed. And somehow, in those quiet moments of reflection, Dylan Wang and Shen Yue continue to surface as a pair that never really left the collective memory. Not loudly, not dramatically, but gently, like a familiar song you didn't realize you still knew by heart. What makes their festive bond endure is the absence of bitterness or distance in how they speak about one another's era. There's no rewriting of the past, no awkward avoidance. Meteor Garden remains a shared foundation they both stand on comfortably. And that ease sends a message stronger than any public declaration ever could. During holiday seasons especially, fans notice how Dylan seems to soften. His posts become more relaxed, his tone less guarded. Shen Yue, too, often shares reflective thoughts during this time, messages about gratitude, growth, and people who once walked closely beside her. None of it is direct, yet it feels aligned in a way that draws attention without demanding it. It's in these small seasonal details that fans feel the connection most. A familiar smile, a similar choice of words, the timing of posts that seem coincidental, yet somehow perfectly placed. People don't rush to conclusions anymore. Instead, they sit with the feeling. The comfort of knowing some bonds don't disappear just because time passes. There's also a deeper layer fans have come to appreciate as both Dylan and Shen Yue mature, the respect they hold for each other's journeys. Dylan's path into a more intense, charismatic presence. Shen Yu's steady evolution into thoughtful, emotionally grounded roles. Neither overshadows the other. Neither competes with what they once shared. Their growth feels parallel, not conflicting. That parallel growth makes their bond feel festive in its own way. Like two people who started a long walk together, eventually took different roads, but still look back at the same horizon with understanding. During holidays, when people reach out to old friends and revisit shared memories, that kind of connection feels especially relatable. Fans also talk about how Dylan and Shen Yue represent a rare kind of on-screen chemistry that doesn't burn out, because it was never built on spectacle. It was built on comfort, on timing, on sincerity, and those qualities age well. They don't fade with trends or time. Every festive season, new fans discover Meteor Garden for the first time. And every festive season, older fans welcome them with knowing smiles. Because they already understand what newcomers are about to feel, that gentle pull toward a bond that feels safe, familiar, and real. What's remarkable is that Dylan and Shen Yue never had to protect this story. They never had to define it. They let it exist as it was. And in doing so, they allowed it to grow into something timeless rather than something fragile. As the holidays pass and another year begins, their bond remains untouched by urgency. No rush to revisit. No pressure to recreate. Just mutual respect, shared history, and a quiet acknowledgement that some chapters don't close, they simply settle into memory. And that may be why, year after year, festive lights seem to glow a little warmer when fans think of Dylan Wang and Shen Yue. Not because of what might be, but because of what already was, and still is, in the softest, most enduring way.